Basically, I had started on my own with my online business. It was just me doing my thing, and I made like 150K. I made like 16. By the way, still living in like government housing. I made like 16K. I was at my mom's house, and the next month, when I ran my first ad, I made like $30,000. Shout out to Tristan, my guy. He was selling my own program for more than I was. Like I would have sell it for like 1,000. This guy was like 1,600, 3-month program, and he was making sales.
You made 400,000 doing personal training.
Yes.
Break that down.
So let's fast forward a little bit. I was at LA Fitness working there. Like break down just that. You want to just go over that specific year of money?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
okay. So basically, I had started on my own with my online business. It was just me doing my thing, and I made like 150K on my own. No team. I mean, I started. I got like a VA, and I had one sales consultant at this time. Or sorry, at the latter end of that year. This was during COVID, and that was cool. But I ended up getting a mentor named Vince Del Monte. So I know I mentioned Brandon Carter, which was shout outs to Brandon Carter. He was the first guy to actually show me that you can make money online. But Vince Del Monte really taught me the depths of things and like got me in community and motivated me in a way where I didn't really get in the last mastermind. So at that point I learned ads and stuff like that. So I remember this is still in the year prior to the 400. This was the 150 year. I made like 16. By the way, still living in like government housing. I made like 16K. I was at my mom's house, and the next month when I ran my first ad, I made like $30,000. And this was like with no team. This was November. I had nobody. So all of that was mine at that time, right? And then the VA and then the money on the ad spend. The next month, that's when I moved out into the condo I'm at to this day in Saga. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this hood thing. Tired of these pissy staircases. So I moved out there, and then that's when like the right people, I should say, were on the bandwagon. Like my VP that I actually worked with at LA Fitness, shout outs to Omar, my guy. He came on board, and he actually, when we worked together at LA Fitness, he remembers me talking about this. He's like, I was like, yo, man, we're gonna be out of here. We're gonna be online doing sales calls, like just making money. Like, I'm telling you, bro. Because going back to what I was saying off record, Samantha being my first deal online, or not my first deal, one of them. She was my first PIF, though. She was my first paid in full. And I remember I went on a lunch break while I was at work, and she bought $1,000 program in like an hour sales call. And I remember coming back to work wilding, bro.
Oh, another 1,000. I just got 1,000. That's a fact. Yeah,
I was wilding. I was like, yo, I made $1,000 in an hour. Like, I don't know. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know. I couldn't even sit still. I was like, yo, this is crazy, right? So but again, at that time, I still wasn't ready to go all in. Like, you're not thinking, okay, yeah, I made one sale, like I can leave. Some people may think that. Some people don't even need that. But for me, I still wasn't at that point. But anyway, to fast forward, Omar, one of my coworkers or my manager at the time, he came on board, and obviously he was a VP of LA Fitness of personal training sales. So selling is like nothing for him, right? That he was managing like I think like 10 or more LA Fitnesses, like managing the sales team. So that's like what he does. So he came on board that January. Man, we cleared like 50,000 that month with him, commanding charge with his sales acumen. I actually had another guy as well who I was working with at another LA Fitness who was crushing it as well. Like he was actually shout out to Tristan, my guy. He was selling my own program for more than I was. Like I would have sell it for like 1,000. This guy was like 1,600, 3-month program, and he was making sales. Yeah, so that was really awesome to just kind of see like how these guys are really contributing and doing things with a zeal. But yeah, I gave them 25%. So essentially they got their commissions, and yeah, we killed it that year. We killed it that year. Just ads, V ads to the DM, to the VA, having a conversation, to the application, to the one sub scheduler, to the sales call, to the sale, to the program. And that was it. And I had at that time like 4 trainers on board that were taking care of the clients. So at that point, I was like letting go of the load of me actually training people myself online, right? And that there's another story in and of itself as it relates to that, because there was a point in time in my business where I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, I feel like everybody's doing something. I don't know what I do. What do I do
Like you've
now?
already set up the systems, you have everything rolling. Like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was interesting. It was interesting.
So that was the 150 year.
No.
That was the 400K
No,
year.
the 150 year
That was before that.
Yeah, was before that, and then the January was the next year when
Gotcha.
Omar and everyone like all hands
Got on
were on deck.
board.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
you. Got you. So now with that, from what you told me off record, that you actually want to slow down. It wasn't fitting for you. What happened?
Good question. Good question. So this is where a lot of business owners trick people, right? And say, "Yo, my business is generating $1 million," or my. And I'm not saying everyone does this, because I also hate that other extreme side of like, yeah, they're just saying they're making $1 million, but they're not making nothing. No, there's a lot of guys that if they say they're making $1 million, their margins are high, right? But I noticed that my margins were so tight that I started getting to a point where I'm like, it. So like when I made my 150, that was like 95% in my pocket. You know what I mean? So no one else was touching it at that time outside of like my mother. You know what I mean? But then when I had a whole team, I'm like paying 25% commissions to my salespeople. I'm paying basically 25% of each deal to my clients. I'm paying for ads. I'm paying VAs, which isn't that much, but still, nevertheless, I'm paying for VAs. So my profit margins were like, man, like you could say 40, 50%. Or sorry, no, 50, 60%. I lied. It's my fault. 30, 20%. So I was making 20, 30% in my pocket, and then everything else was spread out to everybody else. And at the same time, there was a lot of work I had to do, right? I'm doing meetings, I'm doing sales meetings, I'm doing meetings with my trainers, I'm putting out fires. So there were still, I know I said I didn't have anything
It's
to
the
do.
activity you're doing.
There's a lot of stupid activity. A lot of stupid activity. So I essentially had to kind of deflate that um what's it called? That model. And we had discussed off record kind of what I'm moving in towards now.
That's a big gem. That's a big gem because you feel like you're building up this big business. Then you look around and all the margins going elsewhere besides your pockets and besides pouring back into the business. So it's kind of eating itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's real. That's real. A lot of service-based businesses go through that because the person that is fulfilling the service, fulfilling the deal, isn't you. You know, so that's a big lesson for a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of the big lesson. So now, where do you go from there? You just say, all right, I'm just going to deflate that. And are you in a new system now?
All right, so I'm starting up a new system. I kind of just went back to what I was doing before I put on the team, because we were talking off the record about how certain people will say like you need to have a 10 out of 10 girl, and creating these false needs. Same idea with entrepreneurs. People say things like, "Oh, you don't have a business, you have a high paying job." Okay. Like I don't mind making 40K to go to a month working. Like whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair,
So I think that propaganda that it just needs people need to stop saying that. People need to stop.
Yo, entrepreneurship culture is like crazy these days, bro.
It's wild.
Oh man.
I feel you.
Yeah. So I don't subscribe to that. I'm like, I need money. So I'm gonna go back, lace up my bootstraps and just start doing sales calls. And I mentioned that to you over the phone that I've been making money through just doing that, going back to what I already knew. Funny enough though, Omar and I we spoke the other day, so we're thinking. So what I'm thinking to do, because he has a sales agency now, like he's actually doing his thing, and he has people in place like closers that are ready to like come into businesses and just start crushing it, right? So I gotta actually call him tomorrow, but I'm thinking to basically try to figure a way out to get him to use his agency to still hold on to the business, but I'm going to kind of like exit it, so to speak. So even if it's like 10, 20% margins, but I'm not doing anything and I'm building the new business, cool, right? Because obviously this business is already proven like money can be generated at any time, right? But in essence now, but are we pivoting? Are we going that direction with things? Okay, so yeah, now because everything over the years has been like one-to-one sales. So the whole arduous, like, okay, let me ask you a question, Owen. So let's say you were at Good Life Fitness and you were able to sell a membership to 50 people at one time. How much commissions would you be
Bro,
getting?
I would like, so BAM was, let's say, 30 memberships
Yeah.
a month, right? That's, you're making like maybe an extra 3K.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? On top of
Yeah.
like your hourly rate in one day, bro, to surpass BAM and like get 50. And then I had the whole month to make more sales.
Yeah.
You asking how would I
Yeah.
feel?
Well, for the audience, what's BAM?
Bare ass minimum.
Bare ass minimum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you're fired basically if you don't.
If you don't hit BAM, you're fired. Especially
Okay.
so in Good Life, there's like a BAM 1, BAM 2, BAM 3, BAM 4, and a BAM 5. BAM 5 are like the big clubs. So a BAM 5 example would be when Young and Dundas had a Good Life Fitness downstairs, right? And then BAM 4 is like Richmond Bathurst, Papin Danforth. I think that was like a BAM 4 as well too.
Yeah.
But on the average, a lot of them are like BAM 4. So
As in like the minimums that you have to hit.
every
for them to
salesperson, if
fire.
you're working more than like 30, 40 hours a week, that is like what your target is, and you have to hit that. If you don't hit that over a couple months, you're sacked. Yeah. So, bro, I'd be ecstatic. I'd feel like I hit the lotto, especially at that time because I'm in university.
Right.
So that
Oh,
three,
damn.
bro, that'd be like at least 4,500 from me,
Yeah.
right? Let's say at the month end, you're looking at 7K.
You're laughing.
You're laughing, bro. That's like tuition.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight
man.
up, bro.
No OSAP.
No OSAP, pretty much.
That's live. So you see, that's basically what I'm moving more towards now.
Right now.
Yes, instead of doing that whole one-to-one, there's a book I recommend anybody listening. It's called One to Many by Jason Flagellin. Check that book out. Like, read that book, digest that book, like eat it. Eat that book because
One too many.
One too many.
one to
Okay.
many.
I'm gonna get that on my Kindle tonight.
Yeah, it's super dope book because first of all, just to even go over his story, like this dude was just some random painter making like minimum wage, and now he's like the king of webinars, done over $500 million in webinar sales. And what he essentially teaches is forget about the one-to-one thing. Get people in a webinar, right? Because it's like it's like a seminar on the web. So instead of the whole arduous, okay, 1 hour sales call, you're giving energy. Well, what are your fitness goals right now? And I listen, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to seem like I hate what I do or what I did. I love it, right? I love consultations. I love, being able to pull out the whys, why people want to accomplish things and the pain points and not in a manipulative way, but in a way where it's like, yo, like now you realize why you need to do this. Yes, okay, great. Like let's start this program. But I love doing all that. But to be able to, instead of like getting that dopamine hit from one sale and then you're like marinating it and then you go to the next.
Bruh. Oh man, I feel that too. Cause even for like our agency, like you close a deal that like the average close time is maybe like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But when you're prospecting them and like getting them to like know you, understand what you have to offer, feel comfortable paying you, believe you can execute it, that's like a month, right? So when you do the math, you're like, okay, we need this many calls and we need to like nurture them for this long for them to close.
Oh, wow.
So we're exploring like many different sales options and like how to book meetings, how do we get more leads, how do we get more qualified leads? And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like you said, you had closers. How were you compensating these guys to close your deals and where did you get them?
Oh man. So this is why I'm saying like Like let's talk about that. I was hoping I would get to, give God some glory here. God literally built my whole team. He literally built my whole team, and
So they just came into your life.
brother, they just came. Like, okay, let's go to the VA before we even talk about the closers. I posted a ad on a website. It's called, I think it's called Online PH. If it says 404 website not found, I'm sorry, but
those days are long gone.
yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's called online.ph. It's like a international VA website, right? So I posted an ad, or I posted a listing or whatever it's called, like an ad, right? Looking for a virtual assistant, telling them the job description, bro. I got like hundreds of applicants, okay? Like it was so much to sift through. I'm like, I'm out here making money. There's people in my DMs that want training. I ain't got time to sift through all of these applications. But bro, you can't make this up. It was about 6 a.m. actually on I don't remember the day, but it was some morning during the week. And I look at my Instagram and I see a DM by this guy named Jason. And he's like, hey, are you the Jerome Holder that posted the ad about the VA? By the way, he's the only one that's done this. I had that thing up. No one went out of their way to DM me on Instagram. They just went through the motions of the website. This guy DM'd me or whatever. We did an interview right on the spot. I'm still like rubbing Yampy out my eyes, like it's that early. And he's in the Philippines, so it's pretty late for them, later on at least. So we did a call. He was dope. Told me all his experience. Said he actually worked with another online PT before. Didn't really work out. He had like his experience with everything you could think of. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So hired him on the spot. He still actually works with me to this day. Still has my back. He's done like every video that I put up there. He's the one that edits it, puts all this stuff. So he's still with me today. But 100% that was God, because that was no effort. And then all the salespeople, to get back to that, were people I worked with. So I actually worked with all of these guys when I worked at LA Fitness. So there were people that had sales experience. They weren't just like your random duds. Like they were
hungry,
like,
dog.
yeah, and they were the managers. Like
Yeah.
there were guys that already rose above the ranks into promotion. And to get promoted, you got to be putting up at least 50,000 in consecutive months to become a manager in sales. So these are guys that knew what they were doing. Omar, like I said, he was VP, managing multiple clubs. My boy Tristan, he was a manager, managing a very populated club, lots of money coming in, did his thing there. And then I think there was, and then I had another guy who's actually a real estate agent now, doing Tony. Same guy that I mentioned.
Tony.
Same Tony.
Wow.
Same, yo, you're up now, Tony. Same Tony.
That's
yeah. So he was on board, crushing it for a season. I had a few other guys that Omar brought in as well. A few other gentlemen. There was people, and I'll be honest with you, like, obviously a big part of it too was COVID, because that was in the thick of COVID. There was a lot of uncertainty, and people saw like, yo, Jerome's laughing. Like, when SpongeBob and Patrick always be la la la, and Squid was just cheese. No. That's kind of like what I was dealing with at the time. I was not being affected negatively by COVID. People saw that, they wanted to jump.
It was an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
So these guys are like at home, locked down. I'm passionate about fitness. I can't go to the gym. Jerome has this thing going on. I'm getting behind this because I know I can sell and I can make money quick.
Right.
Bro, it's just like the perfect trifecta of everything just coming all to once. Bro, that's why, okay, I do agree with you. That was all God.
Yeah.
That was all God. There was no strategy, no nothing. Perfect place, perfect timing, perfect execution, bro.
Perfect.